Hi guys, this is Mrs. Sagerser and welcome to 3.3 in 8th grade math. We're learning about angles of polygons. Now, polygon is just a fancy word for some figure made up of straight lines, okay? So we're going to learn some new vocabulary, and then we're also going to learn how to solve for the total sum of the interior angles of a polygon and a cool trick about the exterior angles of a polygon. So hold on, we're going to go through some slides and learn all about this. All right, so what is a polygon? It's just a closed plane figure made up of 3 or more line segments. So we could have a triangle, we could have a square. These are the ones you're more used to seeing, but you notice that we also have arrows and stars there. If it has a curved line, it is not a polygon. Okay? Now, there are 2 different types of polygons. You'll notice that we have convex and concave. And I always think of the ones that are concave as they have a little dip inside them, where you could have a little bear crawl in there into a little cave. Now, another way to do this is if you draw a line from one vertex to another vertex, you would have part of that line outside of your polygon. So this would be a concave polygon, as you can see in our figure there. So now we have a couple ways to figure out the sum of the interior angles of a polygon. Now, if you take any polygon and you draw triangles inside of it, you'll notice that the number of sides is the number of triangles is 2 less than the number of sides. Okay, so you notice in the first one, we have 4 sides and we can draw 2 triangles inside of it. Now you don't want any of your triangle lines to cross in there, so you'll notice that we just have the maximum number of triangles that we can inside each of these. So if we have a 5-sided figure, we can draw 3 triangles in it. If we have a 6-sided figure, we can draw 4 triangles. So remember, the sum of the interior angles of a triangle equals 180. So if you ever forget the formula we're going to learn on the next page, you could just draw triangles and say, okay, this first figure would have 180 plus 180. Add that up, that'd be 360 for the sum of the interior angles of that first figure. For the next one, we have 3 triangles. So you could say 3 times 180 equals the sum of the interior angles of our middle figure there. Now, next up, you're going to actually see that somebody wrote a formula to find the sum of the interior angles of a triangle. So n equals the number of sides. Now, just like we saw here, if n is 4, the number of sides is 4, we can draw 2 triangles. That's 2 less than the number of sides. So if you look at the structure of this equation, you'll see that it's the number of sides minus 2 times 180. And now you'll know where that formula comes from because you've just seen the previous picture there. So here's an example problem. We have this very familiar figure that you've probably seen driving around town that tells you a crosswalk's coming up. So it has 5 sides. It's a pentagon. So in our formula, we would put 5 in where the n is, and we would say 5 minus 2 is 3. Multiply that by 180, and we would find that the sum of the interior angle measures for this polygon is 540 degrees. Okay, now think back to the triangles. We could draw 3 triangles in here. The sum of the interior angles of a triangle is 180, so that's why this formula works. Now, if we have a polygon, the exterior angle is considered if you had any figure, okay, and you continue this line straight. Then you go to the next one, you continue it straight out. You go to the next one, you continue it straight out. And see how we're kind of like rotating around this and continuing to draw those lines straight out? These exterior angles formed by extending the lines of the sides. These are called exterior angles, okay? Now, if we add all of these up for any polygon, it is going to equal 360 degrees. Now, it doesn't matter whether it's a triangle or a pentagon. This is the cool thing. It's always going to equal 180 degrees. So if we took this and this and this, it's always going to equal 360 degrees. Okay, so the sum of the exterior angle measures for any convex polygon is always 360 degrees, which is pretty awesome. So in your homework today, you're going to find some example problems like this. And your first step is going to be to figure out what is the sum of the interior angle measures. So you're going to have to count up how many sides does this have? This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sometimes if you draw it on paper, you can make a little mark to keep track of this. So we're going to put 7 in for n. So 7 minus 2 is 5 times 180 would give you 900. So if you add up all of these, 128 plus 130, 120, 115, all of these plus x, and set it equal to 900, then you can solve for what x is. Okay? So that would be what we do down here. First, we're going to count up how many sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. Then we're going to plug our 6 in here where n is. 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 times 180, you'll have to figure that out. Then you add them all up, set it equal to whatever you found there, and you can solve for x. Okay? So good luck with this work. Let me know what questions you have, and make sure that you carefully enter your answers and check your answers on big ideas. Thanks, guys.